What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show is Are You a Hoarder? And I am a medical doctor and certified facilitator and teacher of Akashic Records, founder of school. We have a lot of hats. And now I invite people to a different possibility with their health, money, and relationships through private sessions and classes around the world. And we are using Access Consciousness tool that was created by Gary Douglas and Akashic Records classes to change their lives, their money, everything. And today our show topic is about hoarding. Do you hoard stuff? Do you hoard emotions and feelings? Do you have hard time letting go of things and your past? What if it would be much easier and instead of storing your emotions and feelings in your body, you would organize your life differently? Let's play with the tools and let's see if we can change maybe just a little bit of the hoarding. Look around your room. Do you have things that you bought and never used? Do you have things that maybe from somebody else, maybe the relationship that didn't go well, maybe from your kid that moved out, and you're still holding on to that? It's not the wrongness, by the way, just a choice. And what if we can choose life of ease? How much of those things, the stuff, is not allowing you to move on in your life and create more? And that's actually what happens to our lives. Anytime when we are not letting go of things, could be anything. It could be emotions, it could be feelings, judgments, points of view, all of that not allowing us to move beyond that. More than that, we cannot receive something if it's occupied. Think of, like, look at your room even. Can you fit anything more in the room? Anything new? Anything fun? Well, you have a lot of stuff there probably, unless you're not a hoarder. If you're not a hoarder, if you are totally organized, your house looks clean, your life is amazing, filled with fun, joy, only things that you enjoy, and people that you enjoy, that show probably not for you. This is about letting go what doesn't work in your life, especially stuff that's not yours. And the first tool, of course, we'll be talking about that I love to talk about. And it's amazing. It saved my life. Who does that belong to? And you can use that with hoarding. You can use it with any pain. You can use it with anything that's going on in your life, any thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So let's play with that. I'm going to play just with the way my body feels right now. Who does that belong? Let's just like close your eyes and ask yourself. And you don't have to know what you're even asking about. Ask, who does it belong to? Whatever going on in my mind right now, who does that belong to? Cool. And again, who does this belong to? And would you return it back? Because a lot of things, and we're talking about emotion, but it's also about physical things. Look around the house, how many things you've borrowed or people gave you as gift and you didn't like the gift. How many of you did that? And you just collect it. You cannot throw it away. You're holding on to that, thinking that your friend will get offended if you throw it away, but your friend forgot that he or she even gave it to you. But it's still in the house, somewhere in the corner. You might not even see it right now. What if tonight or tomorrow or in the next week, you look at one place in your house and go, maybe not even a room, because room would be an extreme, overwhelming thing to go through in one sitting. I'm not kidding you. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Um, there is a website, I think it's called Flylady, and I've learned from there, you don't tackle a huge project. You start small. Give yourself maybe 15 minutes. And yeah, I see it in the chat. I cannot seem to throw out all my kids' old stuff artwork. Me too. I have boxes of that since Rachel was small. And I look at it, some of it I was able to throw away. Some of it is still there. I cannot throw away my art is either. And some of it is when I was in school going for my art degree. Go figure out. But it's more about emotional connection. And some of it things own us. So what if you did 15 minutes? That's it, 15 minutes. And go through one area in your house, in one room, maybe a drawer, just one drawer. Take out this much, take out everything and look at them individually. Let go your judgments and ask if it still would like to be with you. Because things are the one that owned us, not the other way around. And there is a funny story. There was a watch which I used to wear for about 10 years. And that watch came to my life in an interesting way. At that time, my financial situation was different, but I still desired expensive watch. I knew that that would create me more money because things do that. Certain things, it doesn't have to be expensive, but you always ask, will you make me money if I buy it? Well, I didn't have that tool at that time. It was before Access. But I wanted an expensive watch. It was something in me just desired it. Now I know it was the watch asking me to look for it. You would say, oh, you're crazy. That's magic that doesn't exist in this world. Well, it is. So I was browsing the internet and suddenly I saw a beautiful watch that was expensive for me. It was $1,300 watch, but somehow it was on sale 50%. So it was like $650, I think, but it still was expensive. Come on. I think the most expensive up to that moment watch that I had was $20. And I looked at that, gorgeous. It had little diamonds, it was sapphire glass, and it also was waterproof and all of that kind of like nice things. It was very elegant. And I looked at that and looked at that and I said, okay, maybe someday. A couple of days later, an ad pops up, same watch. Now it was not only 50%, but another, I think 30%. So it went down to like 400 some dollars. And I'm like, wow, it's wonderful. So I put it in the cart. You know how the website have carts? And but I still didn't buy it because $400, I had a lot of bills to pay. And I'm like, maybe, maybe. But I'll think about this type of thing. 3 days later, I get an email from the company. Hello, customer. I don't think they even knew my name, but somehow, somewhere, my email went through, or they just watching. You know how the internet knows where you are, who you are. And they're like, we saw you put watch in a cart, and we know you desire it. So we are offering you another 40% off and the free shipping and the free insurance and a lot of like freebies. And I'm like, okay, I have to buy that watch. So I bought it. It was amazing. It made me feel good. Right now, I'm not wearing, I'm wearing like one of those measuring devices like Fitbit. Uh, though it's Korean, it measures something else other than just steps. Because my beautiful watch right now needs a new battery. And that's another story because everything has consciousness. Things have consciousness. And you can call it soul, you can call it consciousness, you can call it whatever they want. And they do communicate with us. There's a lot of stories I have about that watch, how it communicated with me. It's almost like it's like a person in a way. And that one, probably not part of hoarding because it still owns me. But there is a lot of other things that I have in my closet that have even tag on it that I didn't wear. And I'm looking at it, but it's beautiful, but, all those buts. And I can't throw it away or donate it. And in those 15 minutes that I was talking earlier, the way you look at things, you ask if it wants to go, if it's part of like the garbage pile, or if you would like to donate it or keep it. Kind of like 3 piles. And we have a question, how do things have consciousness? Because consciousness is everywhere. And that's actually a topic for after the break. We have a break coming up. You've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And after we come back, we'll talk about how things have consciousness, how to communicate with them, and how to shift and change and let go of things with total ease. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I am Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is, are you a hoarder? And before we went on the break, we were talking about how do things have consciousness? Well, if you think that our body is solid, it's not. It's pretty much consists of cells, but the cells are made up of molecules. The molecules are made up of atoms. And atoms are pretty much the nucleus and the electrons that are swirling around. And electron is pretty much energy. The nucleus is, they thought, neutrons, protons, but they all are also broken down at the smaller particles. That's actually waves, wavelengths. And so, and it is that energy underlying everything, the space between molecules, the molecules themselves. And in 1960s, they did theorize that there is a particle or energy wavelengths, just like light, that is consciousness or conscious. And it permeates everything, the whole universe, and that's how the world was created. Basically, as that energy passes through space, creates matter. It was called Higgs particles, based on the scientists that invented it. They couldn't measure it, they couldn't get to it until I think about 10 or 15 years ago. And finally, they actually were able to prove the existence of that. So with everything, like living people or animals, it's easy to say, okay, they have consciousness. Though a lot of people argue that animals don't have consciousness. Believe me, they do, especially if you see my cat. It's beyond. She has more consciousness than me because she's so aware of everything and tells me what she wants and makes me do those things. Because animals also own us, not the other way around. With inanimate objects, again, with trees, like the plants, it's also easier because a lot of people communicate with trees. But with inanimate objects, let's say the watch or the microphone or the computer, a lot of people say, oh, no, they don't have consciousness. Well, they do, because it's all of it is part. We are part of it and they are part of it. Everything has consciousness. And have you lost your keys and then they show up when you're not looking? Well, believe me, it's magical. They're just hiding. They are in the same place, but you're just not seeing it because they're hiding. Maybe they're playing with you. Maybe something else was playing with you. And everything, like water is part of everything on this planet. 70% of Earth is water. And water has consciousness. That was proven. There is a Japanese scientist who took electron microscopy photographs of water when we talk to it, when we say love, gratitude, when we are happy. The water is beautiful crystals. When such words are written like hate, anger, shame, the water crystals are broken and not a pretty sight. You can search it on Google or any search engine on the internet, and you'll see those pictures of water. We drink water. We need water to survive. So part of the connection to the consciousness of the world, consciousness of everything, is water. And some things has more water, some things has less. But that energy that permeates everything, the consciousness is everywhere. It's just a matter of being aware of it. A lot of times we close off to the consciousness, and that's when the unconsciousness or anti-consciousness occurs. And by unconsciousness, I mean when we live our lives on autopilot, when we have no clue why we're doing things, and a lot of things that could be harmful, but we have no clue. It's autopilot. Anti-consciousness is when we're aware, we know what to do, but do opposite. How often did you know not to be with certain people and then yet you go there? Or not to eat the certain thing and you do? Hoarding is actually, a lot of it is anti-consciousness or unconsciousness, because we hold on to those things. We have no idea why. It's about pretty much, okay, it's there. You don't even think to throw it away or to donate or give it to somebody who might treasure it, because you're not treasuring it. It's just there. Unless you're using it, it's not hoarding, because there would be things that you would like to keep. It's not like throwing everything. Okay, I'm going to clean up and throw everything. I've done that. And every single time when I've done it, the thing that I threw away was exactly the thing I needed the next day. Because a lot of times those things pop up saying, oh, I'm here. So you know when you need it, I'll be here. That's when you use the question. And that's a tool of the week, to ask the question, would you like to still own me, and will you make me money? And you'll say, how would things make you money? That's bizarre. They're just laying there. Well, I found out, like with the watch, I felt good. And I felt like I was wealthy because I had that watch, and that watch was contributing to me the energetically. So I started creating more money and my wealth changed. That was the difference. Um, Clothes, certain clothes, when I'm wearing, I feel so good on the top of the world. And usually those days, I get a new student, new client. It's just like, oh, cool. That's how they do it. Or you feel so good, you start talking to people, and again, you get new clients, new people in your life who can contribute to you. This is about allowing people to contribute to you, because a lot of times we're so closed in our world. It's like, okay, I have to do it myself. I've been there, done it. Believe me, I have a t-shirt to prove it. It's not pretty. Independence, been there, done that, have a t-shirt to prove it. Seriously, it's overrated. And it's not about being small and pathetic, because that's another extreme. It's about knowing when something is willing to contribute to you and receive that. When somebody is willing to contribute to you and receive it, instead of saying, no, 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 I can do it myself. Thank you very much. That was actually one of the energies I was not willing to be. Years ago, Gary Douglas, founder of Access, he always talks about, if there is any energy that you're refusing to be, that's what's limiting you and limiting your receiving. So I asked him what energy I was refusing to receive. He looked at me and said, you're refusing to be the dumb blonde. And I'm like, what? Yes, I am blonde. But that was different. When he said that, yeah, I wasn't willing to play dumb. I wasn't willing to use kind of like that dumb blonde energy. And to be honest with you, I had no clue what it was, because I was always high achiever, smart, all of that, and proving it all my life. Because through college, medical school, became a doctor, then quit, became facilitator. It's like always proving how smart I was and always refusing that dumb blonde energy. So the way it works in Access, tools of Access are amazing. And you run the clearings. And you can find out more on the website, theclearingstatement.com. It's pretty much, you ask either to be or not to be something, and then you run the clearing statement. Right and wrong wouldn't be a talking about all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So what I was running was, what energy, space, and consciousness can I be to be the dumb blonde I truly be with total ease? And then anything doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate that. Right, wrong would be a talk about all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And as I said, you can find out more about that on theclearingstatement.com, on accessconsciousness.com, or on my website, creatingabundancewithease.com. Took me 11 months. I'm not kidding you. And I was running it pretty much every day, sometimes looping it overnight, because I was determined to receive all, receive everything. And 11 months later, I was at the party, and suddenly I had Coke bottle in my hand. And of course I can open Coke bottle. There is no question in that. But I suddenly was like, excuse me? Came to a man, excuse me, would you open this bottle for me? And that's when I realized that was the dumb blonde energy. It wasn't that I was dumb. It was flirtatious, kind of like cuteness, all wrapped into one, and asking somebody to contribute, not from a weakness point of view, but actually from something else. And he was so happy to open it. It was such a joy in his life that he could contribute. And that's when I realized I was avoiding that part. So granted from that, I was using it. And one of the examples of, for you, if you've never experienced that, there is a movie, Legally Blonde. And highly recommend watching it, because she's such a cute, dumb blonde in the beginning of the movie. And she actually gets into law school, becomes very proficient lawyer, and she uses that dumb blonde energy to her advantage all the time. So what you are not willing to be, what you are not willing to let go or have, is usually what limiting you. And this is time for our second break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we'll continue talking about hoarding. And it looks like we might need more episodes on that, because it's such an amazing topic. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time. This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today we're talking about, are you a hoarder? And we started talking about the consciousness and things and what limits you, what energies you're refusing. But it's also what you're holding on that limits you. If you're holding on to the grudges, if you're holding on to the past, to the hurt, to the pain, to the suffering, to the trauma and drama, do you think it allows you to move on and create something different? No. It's pretty much the same pattern. So if you're holding on to, let's say, the abusive relationship, you keep recreating it because it's like a magnet. You don't know anything better. There is no room for anything better. You just keep repeating the same patterns. And that's hoarding patterns. That's why a lot of times when people look at their things in their house and let go of them, everything else changes. It was so bizarre. One day I was creating a class and it wasn't going anywhere. And suddenly I get an awareness, go to your closet and clean up. I think I donated about 3 bags of clothes. And I found out I didn't do much damage either because I have so much of stuff that I'm holding on, not wearing. And walk to the closet and look, and I'm like, I don't have anything to wear. You know the difference between men and women when they say, I have nothing to wear? For men, when they look at the closet and say, I don't have anything to wear, it's usually they don't have anything clean to wear. When women come to the closet and says, I don't have anything to wear, it's usually they don't have anything new to wear. And that's pretty much it. I usually like to have like something different, something up to date, but somehow I'm not letting go of the old stuff because a lot of old stuff is beautiful. And some of it comes around and some of it is ageless. And even if it's not a contribution, I'm still holding on. Plus, there are things that I bought that were not even mine. Because a lot of times remember we started with in the beginning with who does it belong to? And if you join us in the middle, in the beginning, I said that a lot of things that we buy, a lot of emotions and feelings and thoughts are not ours. We pick it up from other people. So when we are in a store, we are alone or we have a lot of people there. Well, nowadays it's less because of COVID, but still there are a lot of people that not going to the stores right now. So the stores are not as crowded, but there are still people there. So when you're in a dressing room, I can guarantee you there is at least 2, 3, 5 people in the dressing rooms around you, unless it's just one. And so you're trying on the dress. Besides that, there is a lot of judgments you have about how you look in the mirror and all of that. There are also judgments that people have in there. And they project it everywhere. So the thing that you're wearing might be that somebody else might have liked or liking it now, and you picking it up. They might be wearing something else that they like, but you picking up the resonance frequency of I like that dress, and you look at yourself and it might look nice, might not, but you decided that it looks nice. And you're buying it, bringing it home, and never wear it again. How many times did that happen? To me, a lot. I had no access tools at that time. Now I do. So when I'm in a dressing room, I ask. I ask a lot of questions of the thing I'm trying on. I ask, would you like to own me? And I look for a yes or no. If it's light, then that's a yes. If it's heavy and contracting, it's like no. And I put it away nowadays. Before I still might pursue, especially if I liked it. Liked it is a key word. It has no question in there. It's about, and then you ask, will you make me money? And again, it's yes or no question. And you can muscle test it. And there are other, like with shoes, sometimes I ask, it's like, if I wear you, would I be able to walk in you for 8 hours or 6 hours, whatever it is? Would you be comfortable? Because the thing knows. And a lot of times I get it's like, nope. Or I don't like you. I don't want to come with you. I remember with my dog, dogs, things, everything owns you. So I didn't want to get a dog. I was determined not to get a dog. I even got my daughter hamsters for the birthday instead of the dog. And the dog wanted to come no matter what. So we went to the pet store to get a new cage, new wheel for the hamsters because it was so noisy. Oh God. Every night they would go in that wheel and the wheel would squeak. And no matter how much of W40 I used, it still would squeak. Or they managed to squeak it. So I was told there is one that doesn't squeak. So I went to the pet store, looked for that specific cage that included plastic wheel that wasn't as noisy. Meanwhile, my daughter is like, can we play with that puppy? We're not taking him. We're not taking him. Just play. I'm like, okay. Didn't think much about it. Didn't ask questions. Because probably Chuchi really wanted to come home with us. And next thing I knew, he was sitting, pulling my energy, looking at me with his black puppy eyes and tugging on my jeans. And I melted because I knew he was coming with us. And he did. Same with other things. But a lot of times they want to stay with you for a while, just like my dog. He stayed with me for 14 years and then he said goodbye. I'm still sad about that. And yet I let him go. Didn't have much choice, but let him go. I probably had the choice to make him suffer a little bit more for maybe another few weeks because he had liver cancer, but I let him go. So what if a lot of things in your house, maybe they don't have liver cancer, but maybe they're creating some illness in your body, trying to get your attention, that they're ready to move on to somebody else, to something else, or retire. Just go into the earth and be something else. Maybe a tree, maybe a stone. Maybe go into landfill and create something different for our planet. What if it's not a wrongness to throw something out? What if it's a contribution? How much can we create if we let go of everything? Or at least be willing to let go of everything? How much more space would we have in our lives for something that actually contributing instead of something that is just there and not even pretty to look at? Because I know in my house, I'm looking, it's like a lot of things are like, some of them are I like and I would like to keep, but I'm like seriously looking at pieces of fabric that my daughter used to create a blanket. And I still have like those pieces from there. I was thinking of using it as a dust rack. It's been sitting in there for at least probably quite a few years. I'm not saying how many years, but how many things like that do you have in your house? If you don't, I really am jealous and I'll have that. But I know a lot of people, at least two or three or five or 100 things in their house, been like that, sitting there for years, unless you move every couple of years. I used to move every couple of years, and that was pretty good because I couldn't hoard as much. I would clean out every move and move only what I liked, except probably the last move where I was going through surgery and things, and other people were packing it, so they packed everything and moved. So I pretty much had boxes of stuff that I wouldn't even open. They were just in the garage. And eventually I looked at them, opened them, and I think I pulled maybe two things out of them and then just threw it away or donated it. I don't remember what I did. And I still have things from my mom's moving into my house for a few months, from my daughter moving in and out, like when she moved to college, when she came home for a few months, when she moved, when she got a job, when she moved back, when she opened her business, when she moved out. It's like all those things still there. And at some point, I'm like, you know what? I think that moment is now. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to start getting rid of things. It doesn't work for me to hoard all of that. So, are you willing to let go of things that don't work in your life? And I'm not just talking about things physical, but the emotions as well. A lot of times when you let go of the things, the emotions associated with them also go away. And it's pretty much a given. And it's time for our third and final break of the show. And we just have a little bit time left together. You've been listening to Creating Abundance with This, with myself, Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is, are you a hoarder? And we've talked a lot about hoarding, not hoarding, and how to let go. It's actually not so much how, it's more about choosing. What would you like to have in your life? Something joyful, something fun, something that will create just your life and living, and orgasmic life and living? Or would you still like to sit in your past with all that emotions and feelings and stuff and things that from your past? Just a choice. And it's about being more, being who we are and choosing, kind of like looking at those things and asking, are you still would like to stay with me? Would you like to contribute to my life? And having in your life only things and people that are actually a contribution instead of something or somebody that limits you, that always judges you, always criticizes you. So, what if you change that? What if you let go of those people? Or are you hoarding those people just because they're friends, just because they're family, just because you're used to them, just because you don't want to be alone? What if you didn't have the reason and justification and chose for you in that moment? And next week, we actually be talking about success or failure and how much of success or failure related to what you're holding on to. Our show is kind of coming to the end. I think we have about maybe less than 10 minutes, I guess, left in the show. I just want to talk a little bit about what's coming up. Because if you're listening to it first time or not, I'm doing the show every Wednesday, and each time it's a different topic based on creating abundance with ease. And next week, same time, same place, will be success or failure. We'll talk about what is success, what is failure, and how we can choose something that's greater for us, that's easier for us, that's fun for us. Because we always concentrate on the goals, which is kind of a jail, if you ask me, or ask the dictionary. But we concentrate on purpose in life, on kind of like everything outside of us instead of choosing what works for us. So we'll be talking more about what is that constitutes success or failure. Also, I'm going to be facilitating some classes. There is going to be Basics of Akashic Records on April 24th and 25th. It's a 2-day class where we'll be exploring tools of Akashic Records with how to actually see your karma, see your past lives. And by seeing, I don't mean physical seeing. It's type of conscious meditation with open eyes where you use a prayer, which has nothing to do with religion. It's just vibrational frequency that allows you to raise your vibration so you can become more aware that you are in a space of your heart where you learn more about who you are, what you are, about your past, and actually clearing the past, letting go of the past, letting go of karma, just like we talk about things. It's about stop hoarding your past. And we'll be using other prayers and grace points, which is the points on the hand that allows you to let go of those things. I also am doing clearings based on access consciousness with another facilitator from Access Consciousness, Rachel Silber, how to get out of control and out of definitions, pretty much how to change your life. And that's again, letting go of hoarding, because hoarding is part of how people try to control their lives that's totally uncontrollable. And it's not about chaos in their lives, it's about havocs in their lives. And they try to control it with hoarding to things, thinking that if they have it, it's not going to create more disasters, which is actually opposite is true. And I'm also doing a couple of free Zooms coming up, which is on April 15th, You, Your Body, and the World, and on April 20th. And you can find that all on my website, Creating Abundance with Ease, as well as on accessconsciousness.com website. And as I said, now we have only 4 minutes left. It's on the last countdown. And with the last countdown, that kind of like that hoarding. Let me give you more so you can have more. But that's not about it. What if we actually let go of the hoarding and just have space? How much more can you feel when your space is empty, but not empty? Because it cannot be completely empty because consciousness is always there. People find out that vacuum is not empty. It's filled with energies, and energy is consciousness. So for the next few minutes, and I remember in one of the expansion meditation, a woman said, but it felt so empty. And immediately what I said was, yeah, but how much can you fill it with joy, ease, and fun? And let's ask the universe to fill it with what you desire, not what you're afraid of. Instead of disasters, what if it filled with possibilities and love and gratitude? So for the next couple of minutes, just drop your barriers and allow yourself to expand. Just from the heart. Fill your heart with the energy of gratitude. And you don't have to know what gratitude for who or what you have. Just allow that energy to come in and expand that. A mile, 10 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles, million miles. And allow yourself, make yourself bigger than Earth and ask Earth, what can I contribute to you today? And ask, what contribution can I receive today? And expand even more, bigger than the universe, and ask universe, what can I contribute to you today? And what contribution can I receive today? And even more. And with that, allow yourself to receive. And just be in that energy of unconditional love, complete gratitude, because you can be grateful for people even when they are evil, even when they are assholes. You can still be grateful because you're learning something, because you can choose something different, because you can let them go. And what is that? The purpose of life? Just to have fun, just to be and receive. And hopefully someday I will see you in person or online. The basics of Akashic Records is actually going to be in Tulum, Mexico, live, and at the same time online. You can choose either or, and it will be translated into Spanish if you don't know, and if you require any other language, the manual is already translated into Russian. But if you require any other language, it can be arranged. And have a wonderful week. Use the tools, and I will see you, or you'll hear me next week, same place, same time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.